Oh, I was going to grab Molly and show you. Hi guys, it's Carol. How are you? I'm okay. I'm pretty good. Um, Day 2 of Vlogtober. I'm 2 days in a row. I've got a video going. I just made the best video for you guys. I mean, I was so tickled with this video. It was actually, I thought, going to be really good. It was 34 minutes long. And when I finally ended it and feeling pretty proud of myself because I had this wonderful video for you, I didn't have enough memory. I couldn't download it to go to YouTube. So let's start over and you'll get the Reader's Digest abridged version. I don't even know what I've said so far. I'm Carol. Hi, guys. For my new subs, a while back, I asked my subs if they had any questions for me to leave them in the comments, and then when I need a topic to make a video about, I'll answer one of those questions. So you do that too. Anybody, if you have any kind of question you want me to answer, I mean, I'm not guaranteeing I will, but if you want to leave a question down there, I'll write it in my notebook, and when I need to make a video, that's what we'll do. Well, anyway, Nona Grace, that's the name of her channel, Nona Grace, asked me what were the qualifications I needed for my job. I'm retired now, but for 20 years I worked for a library, and I absolutely loved that job. Everything about it. I loved. I worked in the children's department for 18 of those years. I loved the kids. I loved kids' books. I loved shelving. I loved planning programs. I loved doing story time. The whole 9 yards. I loved. And this is the only place I ever wanted to work, and I got a job at the library. The year I got the job my life was just in a very turbulent time. My husband had gotten on Social Security disability. Didn't get very much. I had 4 kids in 6 years. By this time, I think Becky was 10, and the youngest would have been 4. No, it was a year before that, so 3 or 4 and 10, somewhere in there. My mother at the time, my mother was not my mother at the time. At the time, my mother was living with us, and she had severe asthma, and so I was taking care of her, and things were just very chaotic. We didn't have much money. I hadn't worked in the 10 years I'd had kids. I was very unhappy. My marriage was over. We didn't divorce for another year, but I was just at a bad place. My depression was really bad. I was suicidal often, had suicidal thoughts. Anyway, my daughter Becky needed to book on New York to do a book report. We had just moved back to the city, and so I took her to the big library downtown to get the book on New York. And it was on the 2nd floor. When we walked up the stairs and entered the 2nd floor, it was so calm and peaceful and tranquil and just such a good feeling. Libraries have always been a sanctuary for me. From the first day I got a library card when I was 6, I didn't know what a sanctuary was. I didn't know that word, but that's what it was for me. Well, anyway, Becky's about 10. We were going to get this book on New York, and it just felt like such a wonderful place to be, a wonderful feeling being there. And so when we got her book, the lady that helped her, I asked her, do you ever have volunteers here? And she said, no, we don't. And I said, oh, I wanted to volunteer. And she said, well, leave your name and number, and I'll give it to the boss, and, we'll see what happens. Well, months later, I got a call, and this person asked me if I wanted to volunteer, and I said Yes, which was crazy at the time. I had this husband that was not well, my mother that was not well. I had 4 kids in elementary school and one still at home. My plate was full. I was horribly depressed. But I said, yeah, I want to volunteer. I was going to volunteer 2 hours a week, 2 hours on Saturdays. My mother was livid with me that I was going to abandon my family to volunteer for 2 hours. My husband wasn't thrilled. I needed something for me. The 10 years I had been raising kids, I had pretty much not been around adults. I had just been taking care of these babies, trying to help my mother. Here comes Casey. Come on in.
Hi.
But I made the first move on my own, decision of my own, and said, I'm going to volunteer these 2 hours a week. So I did. And then a couple of months later, a job opening came, and the boss of that department asked me if I wanted to apply for it. And I didn't think I could do it. And he said, yeah, apply for it. Now at this time, we had very little money. Things were just in an uproar. I hadn't worked in 10 years, but I needed a job. So I applied for it. I got the job at the library. Best thing that happened to me other than my kids. I worked there for 20 years. I loved every day that I went to work. I loved the library. I loved the kids' books. I worked in the kids section. I loved the kids' books. I loved little kids. I loved doing story time. I loved shelving books. I loved it all. Oh, Mommy's attacking Andy, my little poodle. I'm going to stop here. But anyway, Nona Grace asked what the qualifications were for. Nothing. Practically nothing. Actually, the qualifications were you had to type 35 words per minute. I could type 70. They're doing zoomies. That's what the noise is. In the city, everything was a pay grade. Every job had a pay grade. Very lowest entry level pay grade was clerk 1. This job was a clerk 2, which means it was just barely above minimum wage, and that's all it ever was. That's why I never made very much money. But I loved every day I went to work. And now that the dogs are going to do zoomies and have playtime, I'm going to go. Bye. Thank you guys for being here. Leave me a comment. Give me thumbs up if you would, please. Okay, bye.